Today, every day, small cap investors visit Agoracom knowing this is the day to discover the world's next great company, to have their dreams come true. That's why I take to the open road, to find them, to tell their stories, to engage them, to bring them to life, because they want to connect with you from your office, your phone, your home, anywhere. Agoracom, find your dream.
Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Agoracom in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives right after they put out big important news. With us today, I'm happy to have Alan Loan, President and CEO of Augusta Industries. The company trades on the TSX Venture Exchange on the stock symbol AAO. Now, not a lot of you knew about him back in 2017, but the company's starting to make waves in 2018 and getting increased volume. This is a superstar company, more than just lip service. Take a quick look at the company's client role for each of its subsidiaries. You're talking about the biggest energy companies in the world and some of the biggest government agencies in the world. In addition, here are some of the things they've recently announced just over the past few months. They've announced a spinout of its subsidiary FOX-TEK to create great shareholder value. That's anticipated to bring back about $2.5 in value for every dollar of share held in Augusta. That's exciting. They've announced a normal course issuer bid to buy back some shares. That came along with a lockup program to show confidence for management. And yesterday, they announced they're entering the blockchain arena with the headline, Augusta to implement blockchain technology. Alan, let's talk about that. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, so this is what I love about your press release. Unlike many of these Me Too blockchain companies, because unfortunately this happens in the small cap space, where people want to jump on a hot topic in their press releases, Augusta has a real use for blockchain. Tell us what you're doing now and why blockchain will only make it better.
Thanks, George. Basically, FOX-TEK does run data on a daily basis. Part of our business is we monitor pipelines for corrosion and for breaches of that nature on stress and strain. We're getting into leak detection. And we have data flowing from remote sites coming into our server, which is remotely also held. And we process and analyze data, and our clients log on to our servers and pull information out that is needed in current or future analysis on their pipelines. And that's sort of the background.
Now, I'm assuming that's what's called, that's a centralized system. That's not distributed. It's centralized. People have to have access. It's clunkier. How does blockchain make that better for everybody?
The great thing about blockchain is it decentralizes that whole equation for us. So when you do have a blockchain integrated and implemented within our system, we use the basic server, the knowledge we have in the data and the information flow, but decentralizing the data and the client requests. Right now, every PDF that they pull, because they're pulling programs out, they're pulling data, and they are going in choosing what format in an intuitive fashion they want to look at the data, whether it's bar charts or verbiage or just raw data, and that's all getting saved on our server. When you decentralize through blockchain, you're using a wide variety of and capacity across the board. Every client will download on their own PC, or their computers or their servers and so on. So it makes things easier, faster, and we'll have a magnitude of capacity. Not only that, but it's not just the clients; it's the regulators that will have access, along with parallel vendors, service providers, or first responders, whether it's the ditch digger all the way up to the pigging pipeline companies and the UT scanners, those that work on electricity on the grid, assisting us in our installation at any given point. So it gives them all an opportunity to accumulate data that flows transparently to all. Plus, the client gets on and they can log on and see the status of any certain project that we are just one element out of, so many others, and tap into information in a timely fashion.
Safe to say, maybe you've had some discussions with clients to get an idea of how they might, how they might accept a new blockchain database for the implemented by you for the industry. And have you got any early feedback from anybody?
Well, I'll start with this. Although they think what we provide today in terms of the DMAT solution to their needs as far as corrosion and even leak detection in the future, they would be enthused by seeing it. We haven't talked to them all aboard. We've got some key industry people that we are talking to that have evaluated what we're doing, and everyone's turning that way. A lot are lost with the word blockchain because it's used frequently. We are truly a company that would evaluate going forward based on what we have background-wise, and I'd say our evaluation so far says we should, out of all the companies I know that I've heard about, I don't know all of them, but we're a great user for this kind of technology.
You're a great use case. You're a fantastic use case because data's flowing constantly. Different people need to know the data, but there's so much stress probably put on your servers by different people having to access it, different security points. Everyone's got their logins. Who knows what goes wrong, what can go right. Plus, that centralized means that the data is also susceptible to corruption, breach, whatever the case may be. So that's why when I saw the press release that you were coming out with, I thought that was pure genius. Touch a little bit on the government regulator side, because you don't just have tier 1 clients from around the world. You've got government regulators who need to look at the data as well. Why is that, and how does this make it easier for them?
I think for that reason alone, it should be a motivation for us as service providers and for our clients. Regulators are involved across the board. We are monitoring pipelines because the regulator has a need, or the client has a need because the regulator wants to make sure that you're operating pipelines safely. And how this plays into the realm of things is that right now regulators can't go into DMAT. They'll ask for a report quarterly or annually and saying, please, Mr. XYZ pipeline operator, provide us with a report that you are really operating safely. They come to us, we produce a report outside the realm of our basic day-to-day operations and go back to them. Whereas with blockchain, regulators can sign up, and of course with the permission of the client themselves, the operator, and they'll be glad to do that because they'll spend more time doing other things that are productive rather than being on the phone trying to abide by what regulations have to say. It's a transparent, flawless way of doing business, and the regulators have to see everything as is. There's no one erasing any data or hiding one report, not saying that any of them do, but hiding a report or a period of time. They go in there and it's total transparency. They just see it like you and I would at any given point in time. So that's big value. That should be big value for federal, state, provincial, and so on.
Alan, switching gears now, because that's all great information from the blockchain side. You announced a spinout a while ago of your subsidiary FOX-TEK. What can you tell everybody is the status of the spinout?
Yeah, I'm gladly do so. The spinout, basically, we started with a plan of arrangement process, and going back to the advisors that we have and everyone else and lawyers, and you know how that goes. We found out that because Augusta is a Delaware corporation and FOX-TEK is an Ontario corporation, we'd have to go to 2 court systems and do 2 plan of arrangements.
That's expensive. And
that's very, very expensive. We do have a parallel route that we're working on, and I think that's going to be a lot faster. We'll release more information, and we're also slowing down the process a little bit because there are some positive strategic developments, and I think all in all, it would help us to just time things in a parallel way.
Is there something? You're being a little bit cryptic there, so I'm because I can hear the shareholders in the back of my head. What is it? Can you be more specific, or is that something we have to wait for?
I think it's best
wait for further developments.
Yeah, I think we'll have to wait for more developments. I'd leave it at that because I'd like to really have everyone have access to the information that we will spread out through a PR or news.
Can't blame me for trying.
It's okay.
You also, last thing, you announced a normal course issuer bid, and there have been some questions on Agoracom about this, which is, in layman's terms, is a share buyback. And people have been wondering with some events that took place yesterday with Pine Tree announcing they sold some stock and things like that. Can you give everyone just a reminder, especially for new people, about the purpose of the normal course issuer bid and how you're supposed to execute that?
Yeah, I'd like to start out by identifying that buying back stock is really not to prop the stock up and make it run up and down faster than we can even monitor. It's more so a strategic way of buying back and canceling stock when we find that that's the best suited way to do it. And depending on the level of stock and the trading, a lot do it for other reasons, maybe for trading or propping up the stock, but we're not planning on doing that. And once cash is available and in a timely fashion, and when we find that it benefits all, we will take action. But the purpose, as I hear a lot by questions through whether Agoracom or by email or phone calls, is when are you buying back? When are you buying back? That's not what the purpose is. That needs to be left for management to decide when, and it's done for the right reasons.
Yeah, it's an option for you to do. You've gotten clearance, it's available. But I posted something online that said typically growth companies will use their cash when it's abundantly available to actually keep growing their companies because of the growth state. So it's an option. It's not necessarily you're going to do it, and it's certainly not there to drive the share price higher,
No.
right?
We'll be getting a call from IROC as soon as we do that when the share price has gone up. So we for sure can and drive it up 200%. That's not how you play that game. So, and you mentioned Pine Tree, and I think a lot of questions have come across, and I've told the majority, the best person to answer to why Pine Tree has sold a part of their position is Pine Tree themselves, really. And they have their own reasoning,
Right.
philosophy, their investment ideas. So I'd rather say that, and we are in communication. We've emailed back and forth. Yesterday, they were unaware. You should know that they were unaware of the press release. It caught them by surprise. They saw the volume and they sold. So that's what I read out of it.
I'm going to say this, and I'm not putting words in your mouth because I have no idea about your conversations where maybe even regret selling because for all you know, they had stock ready to sale on triggers, on orders, on at certain levels, and maybe didn't even see that coming. So I'm just opining. I'm not definitely not speaking for you or opining.
Yeah, again, yeah, George, I don't want to comment on that. It's
right.
Sensitive. They're still an investor. They're still a shareholder, and of course, we want to keep the best of relationships with everyone. You know what? I look at it differently. I look at it as Pine Tree might have sold or XYZ might have sold. Someone else bought the shares, and in seconds they were bought.
Exactly.
So it didn't go through the TSX board. It went elsewhere. So people can imagine there's something out there. Someone bought, and for every sale there is a purchase.
And close to 40 million shares traded yesterday. So somebody wants it, and old shareholders are leaving. We thank them, obviously. There's never any hard feelings about that. But if old shareholders to sell, you say thank you, and you welcome new shareholders as we go forward. So I'm going to let you have the last word, obviously, because you've had every word, but especially the last one. How's the next 6 months looking for the company? What do shareholders have to look forward to?
I think I want to sum it up is that business as usual. We have opportunities on the corrosion side. Our leak detection is catching on. We will have some stories that might catch some by surprise time-wise when that will come. We'll leave that for a press release soon to come. So notice what we're doing out there is something from the ground up. And I think in the last 6 months, we've done what people have tried to do in years maybe. Anyway, I'll leave time to tell what we're doing on the leak detection. It's an exciting little field. But I want to wrap it up with one more statement as far as blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many out there, blockchain companies, that generate $0 and have zero technology and zero data, and yet are trading well and respected. And I think that's great. That's a great thing to have. But I think we have a real blockchain in a real company with real data and real revenues.
And that's what I've always said about you guys. That's the best thing about Augusta. Real customers, real services and products, real revenues, real acknowledgement. You've even had Enbridge write a story about you on their own blog. I think 2018 is going to be a fantastic turning year as more and more people get that message. Alan, thanks so much for joining us on Friday afternoon, because you put that press release out yesterday. We thought it was important to talk to you, get your thoughts, and make sure all your new shareholders knew exactly what you're up to. So thanks a lot for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, and appreciate your time.
You've been watching Alan Lowe. He's President and CEO of Augusta Industries. The company trades on the TSX Venture Exchange on the stock symbol AAO. For more information, get over to Gorecom, punch in the company's name or stock symbol. Read the profile, read all the information put out, and now you can also watch this interview as well as the previous interview we've done with Alan. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Put Augusta on your watch list. Follow this company, and we'll talk to you next time.